Welcome back to Inside Lansing. I'm your host, Neil Murphy, and today's guest is our trustee for Police and Public Works, Jerry Zeldenrust. Jerry, thanks for being on the show today.
Hey, Neil. Thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
We're glad to have you on here, and let's just start talking about the role of trustee. I think we've had this explained before, but maybe I can get your impression of what makes a great trustee.
Sure. In Lansing, our form of government has 6 trustees, and the mayor always has that final vote, if there's a tie. But as our government is laid out, trustees' job is really, as I see it, is like a servant. It is a leadership role. You do govern, but it's really being in a position to help guide the village in everything from financial planning to new developments in town. Early on, we went to training, and they said, do the homework. Really, it just comes a matter
do the homework.
Of doing the homework, of researching what's coming up for a vote, making sure you're aware of the issues involved, making sure that if there's going to be a new expense, that there's a revenue stream that matches that increase. It's kind of multifaceted, obviously, but really it comes down to doing the homework, but also listening to the people, making sure that the decisions you make are not only ones that you can live with, but that reflect the values of your town.
How do you engage with people in town? What is the way that you approach that? Do you reach out in some way, or do you go to events? Where do you get your ideas to talk to people and find out so that you know that you're doing a good job?
I was introduced to that early on, back in 2017, when I ran with Mayor Patty Item's team on her slate. And that was my first introduction to actually campaigning, where you go door to door and meet people. And what a great way to find out what is on the mind of the voters and the residents is when you knock on your door and ask them how it's going. And one of the things that came out of that back in 2017, almost like daily, if we were out speaking to people, was how much they missed the Santa Claus house. I would have thought they were worried about streets or taxes or trees falling down in the parkway, all the different things that we engage with. They wanted a Santa Claus. It's like, what happened to Santa Claus? When's that coming back? And so we actually made it not the priority, but on our priority list of things in our campaign that we were going to work on.
And you did.
And we did. And it came back, and it's a beautiful building, and it's being used every year, and just does my heart good, to see the people. They bring their kids. They line up just like I did with our kids. You line up and have that holiday experience. So you learn by speaking to the people at their door. And we're living in an age where there's emails and texts, and once your name is out there, it's very easy to engage with folks.
Yeah.
But even if they hesitate to reach out like that, if you're out and about, you show up. You attend things, you attend functions, you frequent your businesses in town, and you just get that family feel for what's on the minds of folks.
A lot of people might not know this, but you've been in town here your whole life.
Right.
So you were Lansingite all the way through till now. Maybe talk a little bit about your history here and why you wanted to choose to serve. We can maybe get into that.
I came from a farming family. My grandparents and my parents were raised on a farm right on the edge of town. So for just a few years after my folks got married, they lived in Indiana, but at age 5, they wanted me to be back in Lansing because they wanted me to go to Lansing Christian School. And that was a priority for them. And so at age 5 on, I've been a Lansing resident. But we always went to First Church on the corner of Ridge and Burnham. I was baptized there and been a member there all my life. So, roots in Lansing go way back. Went to Lansing Christian School. After I graduated from there, 8th grade, went to TF South High School. And then on to junior college. At the time it was called Thornton Community College, South Suburban now. And just seemed like the timing was perfect. I graduated from junior college, start applying around because I was in the law enforcement curriculum there, and Lansing was testing. And so graduated, I turned 21, and Lansing was testing, and I made it
It was meant to be.
on the list. So it was just a real pleasure to know that I could find a job in law enforcement, which was my interest, but in the town that I grew up. So you knew the streets, you knew the town, you knew the people, the businesses, and we just went from there. So met my wife Sheila at church. She was a pastor's daughter. So we joke about our kids. It's like, I don't know how that's going to go. Pastors' kids can be a little bit, rambunctious, and everybody, cops' kids, are running around, being rambunctious.
Yin yang.
So, yeah, so how our girls made out is a wonder. But yeah, we just 3 beautiful girls. They all found their Christian spouses and live in the area. So it's really been a Lansing-based life from early on until all the way past retirement and then serving on the board.
And what brought you to want to serve?
It's kind of a cross section when opportunity meets like timing in your personal life, and it kind of meets with your areas of interest. So in law enforcement, one of the key phrases when you go for your job is admitting that you actually like to help people. So when the opportunity of being a trustee and helping the town that you live in and that you're going to be staying in, retiring in, that you raised your kids in, it just made good sense. And when I saw the team that Mayor Patty put together, it was really exciting to get involved because we had our village administrator, Dan Pygorski, was on board at that time, and our current mayor, Brian Hardy, ran on that ticket as one of our trustees. So the group that she was putting together was just really a neat group of people that were positive and looking forward for making some really neat changes. We were coming off of an economic downturn, so there was a lot of things to work on.
Yeah.
And everybody was excited to work on it. And right at that time, our church was looking to find ways for our volunteers at church to help people in town, but we didn't really know where the needs were. So the opportunity to be a trustee and work hand in hand with the building department and hear where their code enforcement folks were seeing problems that maybe people that couldn't financially or physically upkeep their properties, they were really looking for some help. And we had the helpers, but didn't know where the need was. So by being a trustee, it was a neat link to put all that together. And so you wind up helping people in a new and exciting way. It was like perfect timing. It was people that knew me for a long time and thought that I had skills and abilities to help the team in the efforts that we were, looking to start out making. So it all seemed to go well, and it's been going well.
It has been going well. Speaking of going well, why don't we talk a little bit about your departments, police department and public works.
Yeah.
So between those two departments, maybe you can give us a little update on what has happened that you could let people know like what you've been working on.
Well, the police department has always been near and dear to my heart, so I was glad that I was able to be representing them on the village board. Our chief, Al Phillips, I worked with him. I think I was on the department when he first got hired and watched him come through the ranks, and he has a heart for the village and for the PD.
Yes.
And that just was so very apparent. So since Chief Phillips has taken over, and Chief Dennis Murr before him, just a long time with the Lansing Police Department.
Yeah.
And they knew what the needs were, but back in the day it was hard financially to meet those needs. So our number one goal was to get our personnel and our equipment up to speed. We were way behind on hiring, and that causes a problem because if you don't have your personnel up to the proper levels, it causes a financial burden of overtime. Still takes the same amount of people to cover the streets and to do the work, so we needed to concentrate on personnel. And the tires were literally falling off the squad cars. They were 10 years old. They hadn't been invested in just because there wasn't money for it.
Really?
And they were told, no money, just deal with it. And so they did the best they could, but that had to be addressed. So that is really a success story with Lansing because we are fully staffed. We have the equipment that they need. They were also part of the solution because they put together a grant writing team.
Oh, okay.
And they have been so successful with grants. They have a grant currently that they're working with. It's called the STEP grant, and it helps fund strategic traffic enforcement.
Oh.
To the tune of, I think that's over $200,000 now that they get to have enhanced, and that goes everything from seatbelt enforcement to targeted like red light violations and speeding and all of the safety aspects of traffic enforcement. So that's going well. They just received a $680,000 grant for body-worn cameras and cameras in a squad car and for storage systems because that's always tied. Video is always tied to storage. It's a data.
You don't have to tell us here that.
Data nightmare. Right?
It is.
It's one thing to take footage and turn it in every day after every shift, but then where does it go, right?
You need to go put it somewhere.
So for years they've been downloading to DVDs and stacking DVDs in the evidence vault, and it's just such a volume for so many years that it just had to be dealt with. So the people in the industry know that, and so when the state gets together and they look at where grant money could be best used, everybody knows. It's like body-worn cameras are kind of the standard now, and everybody wants to see the video, and that's good for our officers because they have a very high standard of professionalism, and if it's on video and it shows that they did a good job and did the right thing, they're happy to have those videos. And then the final thing that's exciting about the police department right now is that we have just approved within the last few months upgrade to our 911 telecommunication board. Okay. So it'll be new radios, new furniture, new communications equipment, recording equipment in that dispatch center to bring it to state of the art. Back when I worked there, which is many, many years ago, I remember working with our...
How many years ago?
Yeah, a lot. I think I retired in '08. Okay. So I've been out for quite a while, but I worked hand in hand with our telecommunications supervisor, Brian Weiss. Back when we were struck by lightning, I was a commander in charge of support services. Seemed like everything we touched got fried. We got hit by lightning. The councils got fried. Our computer banks and A-frames got hit.
It just destroyed everything.
It was a mess. And to no fault of the guys that were maintaining it, it was just a system that had to be enhanced and improved. So we replaced all that stuff, and now we look all these years later, it's shot. It's already wore out, and it's outdated, so it's time to update all that. And neat thing about personnel and good hires, Brian Weiss was a police cadet when I was on the force, and he went through those years of training, became an excellent dispatcher, became supervisor of the dispatchers, and is now working with on the state level for the 911 committee.
Did not know that.
And he's a go-to guy for the state of Illinois on how to run state-of-the-art 911 systems and communication and medical advice over the radio. I can't say enough about Brian and how he continues to set the standard high.
It sounds like we got the right trustee in the right place with the police. Now, with Public Works, do we have anything to look forward to with them in the near future?
Yeah, very exciting things happen at Public Works. It's been 15 years that they've been operating mobile offices down there, waiting for the planets to align, you might say, for them to get a new building.
That's a good way to put it. Planets to align. I like it.
Yeah, it wasn't for lack of desire.
No.
A lot of times it's just such a big chunk of money
to huge
wrap your brain around. That it's like, how are we going to do this? What's the layout of the property, the footprint that we get to figure out how we can use it in the best way possible, make sure that it's adequate size, that we don't set our sights too small and then outgrow it in a couple of years.
Right.
So a lot of that was going on, but the financial aspect was a real challenge. And thanks to our village administrator and to our finance director, we were able to figure out how to tie in that piece of property with the Chicago Avenue TIF district that goes all the way up to our the sports venue and the end of Chicago Avenue.
A lot.
Yeah, it needed a lot of work, and so it was a neat thing that we were able to develop, and that tied in the footprint of Public Works. So we got a new building coming, and if anybody's been down Burnham Avenue to the north end of town, you see it looks like our village hall. The architects are so good at keeping all of that, the brickwork,
continuity of everything.
Yeah, it's like a brand.
Yeah.
Very similar to this building and the
this building is
facelift
now starting to get its
that
facelift
the youth
too.
center and then have received. I know that's almost done now. So yeah, it's a beautiful building, but what's more important, it's not just a new building. It's one of the highlights, I think, of being a trustee on the board with Lansing. When you hire the right people, and I'm talking about department heads, it lays the groundwork for such great things in the village. And Earl O'Neill, who is our superintendent of Public Works now, came on about a year ago and brought with him a level of expertise and an eye on technology and communication and working with employees and morale. He's just amazing. And he has already laid the groundwork for everything that's going to go into that building. He's incorporated all of the computer programs for things like keeping track of our water mains and the repairs that are going on in the village and the condition and location of all of our equipment. We just took a tour there last Friday, and it's in progress. They're making really good progress there, but they've got about 40 places for 40 big screen monitors that are going to have real-time monitoring of our cameras, our lights, our equipment, reports coming back from pumping stations, just everything that you can imagine.
That'll have to really help with faster response times, right?
Oh, amazing operational advancements with having all of that at your fingertips. And half of that building is an emergency operations center. So all the technology that Earl is building in to the Public Works side of operations is going to be available to our emergency operations center anytime that there's an emergency in the village. It'll really be a state-of-the-art hub for all of the emergency services, police, fire, Public Works, outside agencies coming in to help. It's really going to be amazing, and it's very exciting to see it all coming together. And I'm so thankful that I get to see it happen under my watch, because we've been waiting a long time.
Yeah, it's great to see. I'm glad you could be here to be a part of the finishing of the project, because a lot of people start projects here, but you don't always get to be a part of seeing the final construction of that project.
Absolutely.
So it's got to feel good.
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
We could talk all day about that, but I'd also want to find out a little bit more about you. So in your spare time, what do you do to unwind, your hobbies or your interests? What are some of those?
Sure. Well, mentioned being a lifetime member of First Church on the corner ridge in Burnham.
Yes.
One of my favorite things to do is a program that we got started there probably it's probably going on 8 or 10 years ago now, but it's called Love for Lansing. And that was that opportunity that I spoke of earlier, that being involved in the village, finding out where the needs are, and then putting our volunteers from church together to meet those needs, just turned into a really neat thing that we could do not only with the folks from church of all ages, yard work and different things, but there's also a small group of retired guys that were able to come together to put in wheelchair ramps and fix wooden stairs that were broken, or take down sheds that were broken down, anything that the village had kind of picked up on and said, hey, this is dangerous or needs to be addressed. And so we have a small group that does that, and that's a lot of fun. But when I'm not busy doing that, I like to garden. I got a pretty good-sized garden on the west end of town. I'm the unofficial king of popcorn. I raise popcorn.
Really?
Yeah.
You raise popcorn?
Yeah, in Lansing. Yeah,
I'd like to try that sometime. You know.
yeah, I'll get you some. It's it's a grandparent treasure to be able to have your kids out and grandkids out to help. But we plant and fertilize and harvest and process it all right there.
That's amazing.
In the property, and so that's a lot of fun. And we get like 100 to 150 quarts out of the garden. So it's a neat thing to have a garden. Gardeners find solace, right?
Yeah.
Being in the garden, and I just love doing that. So between that, doing a little hunting, doing a little fishing, play bass in church, do a little music.
Oh, really? Play bass?
Yeah.
I would never have known that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
When did you start playing bass?
You know, when I was a kid, I took guitar lessons over at the Morse Music Mart on the corner of Wentworth and Ridge Road.
Okay.
And I always liked to play guitar, didn't really have that much opportunity. We had a little neighborhood band going back in the 70s that was, everybody wanted to play guitar.
Yeah, of course, everybody always wants to play guitar.
But at our church, we had a praise band that was starting up. And they said, we've got the piano covered, we got some singers covered. What we really needed was a drummer and a bass guitar player. And I said, well, I play guitar a little bit, don't know about the bass, I'll just try it. And just kind of caught on. So been doing that for, since the late 80s, I think. I've been playing over there. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Now maybe we'll go on tour sometime, right?
Yeah, maybe so.
I usually ask this question of all trustees that come through here because I look at you guys as our leaders of town. I look at our trustees as stewards, they're here and people look up to their leaders, and specifically young people.
Sure.
And I was wondering if you had any sort of messages or maybe something just to give to the young people about being a leader. What does it take and what can they do?
Sure. The leaders of tomorrow are so important.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I look around and say, well, who's going to pick up the baton, and run with it? And it seems like over the years, the volunteer spirit has kind of dwindled a little bit. And that's sad because it takes volunteerism to engage with the village. So I think one of the best ways is to volunteer. If young people can find a way to help, it doesn't have to be starting a new program or starting a new venture. It can just be, showing up at the library and finding out what's going on at the library, and maybe there's a way to help, kids learn how to read, or there's an after-school program somewhere, or maybe there's at the park district, there's an outing or something that they can participate in. And once you become known, you're developing your reputation, basically, as someone who's interested in the village. And then the more you know and the more you get to know, you build those relationships. So when there's an opportunity to serve somewhere or they're looking to plug in someone, then your name is out there and your face is out there. I had people ask me before, well, why would you want to be a trustee? It seems like you're going out of your way to get a bunch of headaches for a very little.
That's a good way to put it.
For a very little benefit. It's just like, well, benefit. If you care, when do you have the opportunity to actually guide your town to make sure that it maintains its family values and you get to speak to that and keep it the town that you remember, that you grew up in and that you raised your family in. So, to volunteer, to get to know people, to get to know the village, and then to look for those opportunities that is that neat cross-section between what you bring to the table, where your interests lie, where the need is, and if you're lucky, those there's a cross-section there where you have an opportunity. And then you do your homework.
And then you do your back to the beginning. I like that.
And you
brings
do
it all
your homework,
you do your homework.
and do well. And success feeds on success,
Yeah, they say showing up's half the battle. Just showing up and doing the work.
Yep.
You don't have to have all the talent in the world. You just have to have the drive to want to do.
There you go. You show up, you have a desire to help, and the rest kind of plays out for itself. And we all benefit. And when everybody's pulling their weight and really dedicated to the cause of it's the town you live in. So why wouldn't you want to make it the best it could be? So that's kind of how it's supposed to go. And that's how I've seen it work the best.
I think that was perfectly said, and I think it's a great way to end the show today. So, Jerry, I just want to thank you again for being on the show today, and we look forward to having you again.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Inside Lansing.